I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody! You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE.
Give me a hell yeah!
Now, let's meet the host, Kyle Gagliardi,
The face that runs the place!
Jim Tucker, and Erica Marini.
I'm the boss. I'm the blueprint. I'm the standard.
Well, I think we've had enough talk. It's time for the main event.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM Kyle Gagliardi, and my co-host is my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky!
What's going on, Kyle? Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Glad to be joined by you at Too Sweet, Kyle. It's Too Sweet. And the one and only at Ian Garavaglia on Twitter. Ian, what's up, dog?
What's up, dog? Hey, Merry Christmas, guys. Kind of almost. We're almost there.
Oh, yeah. We're there.
Can you believe it?
Days away. Oh, yeah.
No, I don't
Here.
believe it because I'm just thinking about work 24/7, which is why I'm glad we are here to talk about wrestling because
Work.
get it? Yeah. Okay. Little Rihanna. Did I ever tell you that story that I got VIP tickets to Rihanna just for winning a dance off at the Final Four?
Oh, wow. No. What a
No.
story.
I shook my ass and they said,
Just for
"You
winning a
win."
dance off. Like, that would be hard enough. Like,
Kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. But yeah, as you can see and you can hear if you're listening at a later date, Erica is not with us this evening. So we brought in Ian. We're going to bounce around from topic to topic tonight. But Steve, the current MVM, says he wants to wish us a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He is sorry he could not catch the show live tonight, but he will be watching on a delay. So that means there will be a new MVM. And our good friend Robbie Collins says, hello, guys. It's Christmas season. Yes, it is. And Dirk Vogus himself, hey, Kyle, he says, had a blast last Friday night. Yes, Dirk Vogus was hanging out with the boys.
With the boys.
Ian was with us as well. And thank you, Tucky, for buying us around. I appreciate it.
You know, if I can help my boys have a good time, it's the least I could do. And I probably didn't even cover all of it. I can drink.
No, it was exactly 4 beers. Exactly 4
Really?
beers. Can
Okay,
confirm.
we'll take it. I'm like, as soon as I sent it, I was like, I think they're like $17 a beer. This is atrocious.
Dude,
So
even
I'm
if
glad
you
I went
underpaid, the gesture was enough.
back. That's why I asked who all was there, because I was like, well, I don't want to buy. I got to buy the whole party one. So it was good.
Now that we're here talking on the podcast, I can tell you I was not drinking that night. So you bought an extra beer, I think, for one of the Vogus, either Dirk or Ryan. So
It is
they appreciate that extra beer right there.
What a
Because
nerd.
we were in the middle. We were in the middle of the row, and my bladder is not great. So I figured I wouldn't bug the people around me. Which the people around us kind of sucked, right, Ian?
They were awful. One side of us was falling asleep, and then in front of us there was a ass crack the whole entire night.
Yes.
It was, and no, it was. It's not
No,
worth it. Yes,
relax now.
it was a child's. It was a child's.
Oh
No.
I know. That's why I said you're gonna regret that. Yes, but the mom every time, and it's just like he's right in front of me. They got a sign. They're blocking the view. Which, by the way, signs.
Get rid of them.
Let's
See ya.
stop. This ain't the Attitude Era. You're blocking my view. I don't like it. That's my take.
I like them. I just don't like them
You
right
like
in front of
'em?
me. I do.
Yeah.
I like
Dirk-
good
Dirk-
ones. Like,
Dirk wants to thank
Yeah.
you for the beer. By the way, he's thanking you.
of
in the
course,
comments.
Dirk.
Right
My
on.
pleasure.
Right on.
Yeah. I think I have an idea for
Let's
the
hear
end
it.
of it. Let's build a pay-per-view wrestling card out of Christmas songs. 3 matches. So
What do you mean,
opener,
like an undercard, mid-card kind of song, and then a main event song?
and then oh yeah. I don't
All
know
I
if
Want
can
for
come up with
Christmas by Mariah Carey's the main
Yeah, I was gonna
event.
say that's main event. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's the main event.
That one, that's got to be in the main event. And what about like Happy Holidays by NSYNC, Hallelujah by the Pentatonics? Like,
No, they
Merry
don't make it for me.
Christmas, Happy. What's in the main event?
I think
So let's kind of like let that.
we going
stew.
classic? Okay.
Hopefully, remember Christmas songs.
Yeah.
Just bangers. Like
we'll see
Grandpa
once
got
we.
run over by a reindeer.
There's a lot of options for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And 'tis the season indeed. You can go to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com this weekend. Use code Xmas at checkout. You will save 10% off of your
Bang.
order. That's a little treat from
Let's go.
us to you guys. We usually only do it for pay-per-views or PLEs, but it's the holiday season. Go get yourself some merch at the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. And speaking of merch, my Secret Santa, Mikey Wilson, gifted me 2 t-shirts, one of them being the one I'm wearing right now, Johnny Wrestling, but this is the one I already had. So we are going to be doing a giveaway. It's already on our social media, at Pod on the Mark on Twitter. If you go there, give it a like, and make sure you're following us there on Twitter, you will be entered for a chance to win a large Johnny Wrestling t-shirt. And at the moment, Tuck, we only got 5 entries. 5.
Well, you got to like your odds. We'll see. When is the drawing?
I said I was going to announce the winner on Christmas. Just a little
I gotta
Christmas surprise.
retweet that too. We got some time.
Get it up. Vogus showing some love to your sweater. Vogus was repping that at SmackDown, right, Ian?
Yes.
The Kane one.
Oh,
He had the Kane light up Friday at SmackDown, and he had the Ric Flair light up at Warrior Wrestling, which, Tuck, you saw us on Warrior, didn't you?
I saw you the whole show. I didn't realize I was looking at you the whole show until I realized Vogus's sweater was the Flair one and not the Kane one. So I'm
Right.
looking for that bright light up one. I'm like, I see that pink one, but the Kane sweater is not pink. That's not them. I thought you were like lower and to the left. I'm like, okay, but that's weird. And then once EC3 came up your way, I was like, I have.
I was
seen
wearing
them the
our
whole show.
Stop the What Chance shirt from the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. I don't know if that showed on screen.
No,
And there was a point
couldn't
too
see it.
during Warrior show where they were whatting, and I just stand up and I'm like, Ian, stop the what chance. Let's go.
What?
No, don't do it.
I like the what chance.
No, you don't. There's no chance you like the what chance talk. No chance.
I love a great what chant. A well-timed
Okay.
what chant.
It's gotta be well
oh,
timed.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't just do it for every.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you can't be horny for it, but yeah, there are some guys that deserve the what chant. But I think it's crappy talkers. Like, it started with Stone Cold, but now I think shitty talkers get the what chant now.
Yeah, that's a good point. So let's go over what we're about to get into here this week for episode 127. We're going to kind of hop around. We're going to start off with a few headlines going on in wrestling this week. Then Tuck has an idea that we've never done before. We will get to that after the headlines. And then to finish off this episode, we will be telling you the nominees for next week's 3rd annual OTMmy show, which I am very, very excited for. And I re-listened to last year's OTMmies, Tuck, and the guy below you right now was supposed to present an award, and he no-showed. So do we trust him to present another award this year?
That was tragic. Yeah, I remember that. Let's let
Ian,
him.
thoughts?
Guy must be a
Yeah,
dick.
You are. I asked Ian too earlier today. I was like, "You gonna do it again? You gonna try again to present this year?" And your response?
It was yeah, I should be good, but just in case, find somebody.
And Mikey Wilson already bailed on us too. And look in the chat right now. My mother, Donna Southfield Gagliardi. Hello, Mom. Hopefully Ryan's alongside you because we got some fun wrestling headlines to get to. So let's jump into the first one here that I have. It's not really much of a headline because we already know of this story, but Tuck, we never had the chance to really discuss it here because we didn't have a show last week. And it's the firing of Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose lost her NXT Women's title on NXT a couple weeks ago to Roxanne Perez. Then the next day, she was let go from the WWE for posting scandalous pictures and videos with a paywall on a site that is similar to OnlyFans. And like I said, Tuck, we haven't had the opportunity to verbally discuss this on the podcast. So first off, I'd like to know, what are your thoughts on this whole situation? Do you think it was a warranted firing? Do we expect to see Mandy Rose eventually back in the WWE? How do you feel about this situation?
I think it's hard because they let her have a fan site in which you could do it. I don't know. Did she break a rule? Like, was it in her contract that she would definitely, if she broke her contract, that's different to me. Like if it was worded in the contract and she broke that, then it makes sense. But like Matt Riddle's testing positive for cocaine and he gets suspended and she shows off her body to people that subscribe to her site when WWE markets her body. She's in a group called Toxic Attraction. So WWE can do it and use 12% of the material to cover her body. But when she chooses to on her site that is devoted to the people that only like her, and then she gets fired when one of the Usos was driving under the influence and is a undisputed tag team champion, and then Matt Riddle's in his I hope it was worded strongly in her contract and she knew and she broke that rule on her choice, not because of her choices. Like if there was nothing in the contract, I think that's kind of bogus because it doesn't seem the same standard, especially with like they suspended Riddle. They're using Mandy Rose and her appeal to make money. That's what I get frustrated with.
Kind of like the NIL in college now, name, image, and likeness. They're still, referring to Mandy Rose too on TV, like Roxanne defeated her and she's still not a part of the company. But obviously we don't know exactly what the contract stated, Ian, but you know what's going on with this whole situation. How did you react to the firing of Mandy Rose? Because this is somebody that held that NXT women's title for over 400 days.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of like the same with Tuck. It's like we don't know, and we really won't know until we see what was written in the contract. Because it's hard to believe that it was either for the explicit images, if that's the reasoning, or if it's because she's selling her likeness. Because you have people that are like Xavier Woods with his YouTube channel.
Yeah,
that now, and the Twitch channels that's being allowed now. What's the difference? It's just the content is different. So. Again, you have to know what's in the contract to actually come to a conclusion. So we don't know.
The only thing I will say about it is she definitely knew it wasn't 100% right because you don't put a paywall up there and don't promote it on your social media unless, it was frowned upon. And then somebody leaks it and apparently Vogus thinks it might have been Ian that leaked one of the pics. Can't confirm nor deny.
I don't know. You can't cross his name off the list. We don't have proof.
I cannot say either. Legally, I'm not allowed to say.
That's right. Good response. I mean, it's just so weird. Like I said, they just invested so much time into it, and then they find this information out, and it's just see ya. We're moving on. And I totally think she will eventually make her way back. I'm sure they will compromise on this whole situation, but it's a weird one, Tuck. It's something you don't see very often, and especially nowadays when there's things like OnlyFans and all that where they can make money off of them. I'm not mad about Mandy Rose going out there and catching the bag because we saw after she was let go, she made $500,000 off that account.
Well, there are a lot of female professional wrestlers with OnlyFans and they don't show nudity. They choose not to. You can watch them work out in their underwear or something, but like they don't. It's weird. It's just interesting. Like it's their body and their choice, I think. And if that's something that they're comfortable with, whatever.
Ian,
that's why I said it should be black and white. Like if she definitely broke a rule, cool.
Yeah, I would agree. Ian, you're an AEW first kind of guy. Is Mandy Rose somebody you would like to see in AEW, or you think she's just built for the WWE?
Why not? I mean, she's obviously main event material. I mean, it can't hurt. It only helps. So yeah, obviously, yeah.
I think Impact. There was reports that Impact is interested. Maybe Tommy Dreamer said something that they would be totally open to having Mandy, and I think any company would be. But I think eventually she will make her way back to the WWE. But we never had the opportunity to discuss it, so I figured we would bring it up briefly here to start off this episode. But another thing I definitely wanted to talk about is WWE's newest signing of Bronson Reed, and this was apparently a priority for Triple H, and we saw him debut this past Monday Night Raw alongside of The Miz in that ladder match against Dexter Lumis. And if you've listened to the show over the past year, you know my thoughts and opinions on Bronson Reed. I am not a huge fan of his. Triple H, ever since taking over, has brought back a lot of that talent that was initially let go about a year ago or so. So, Tuck, with bringing Bronson Reed back, do you think he fits into the main roster, or is this another person like a Hit Row or a Emma that's kind of just going to get lost in the shuffle?
Yeah, I'm not a big Bronson Reed guy. So this is a little bit of a head scratcher for me. Unless it's to, I just because Hit Row re-debuted doesn't mean they're going to be here for 10 years, right? So maybe they're short-term contracts, 1-year deals. Let's see how it goes. Is it like on my end, is it a make right? Like, is he trying to make up for some of the wrongs that, Vince did? Or does he actually see some talent? I know a lot of people are frustrated with Bronson Reed because he beat Okada, but now he comes back to WWE to be, seemingly the Miz's henchman. But if he made the choice, right? Gun wasn't to his head. So if your goal is to wrestle in the WWE and you have the opportunity, you're going to do it, right? So we don't get to pick his career for him, which that's kind of how it felt like with a lot of people phrasing it, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, like Vogus is saying, thick with 2 C's. Thick boy, Bronson Reed is. It's an interesting re-signing or whatever you want to call this for Bronson Reed. Like you said, beating Okada is huge, and that brings a lot of legitimacy to him, but that's something that maybe most WWE fans don't even know about. He's showing up here.
Yeah, he didn't get a strong reaction.
No, and I think the number is probably around 20% of the main roster fans are actually watching NXT. So with that live crowd there's probably not many people that knew who he was, and he kind of just shows up and costs Dexter Lumis. Ian, I know you don't watch much of WWE, but do you have any thoughts about Bronson Reed or just in general about Triple H bringing back all this talent that was initially released from the company?
I don't have much to add on to that, I guess, but the fact that Triple H is looking to bring these people back just to give them another shot, and it kind of does feel like a right their wrongs type, or right Vince's wrongs type of move. And I appreciate it from the outside view. I didn't know any of these people because I wasn't watching NXT too much back in the day. But I think it's a nice gesture, and it kind of shows where WWE is at. Just not going all out and signing people, but like you said, with a short term, just giving them a chance. Just say, hey, if we messed up, show us we're wrong kind of situation, which I respect.
Yeah, not all these people need to be main event players.
No.
Everybody needs to fit a role. Honestly, out of all the people that they brought back, there's not many world champions that he brought back in. Maybe Karrion Kross one day gets to that point, but I couldn't see anybody from Hit Row. You
what
bring
about
back
Gargano?
As much as I want that to happen, I think Tuck might agree with me. I don't think he's going to be a world champion on the main roster.
Nope.
Yeah. Maybe a mid-title. Yeah, but the mid titles are important too, and there could be, you have some downtime between champions. You want to put the strap on them for a month and see how it feels. But I think, his signing is okay right now. He's proving that he can talk. So I don't think they have a question of if he can wrestle. So I think he's kind of being good soldier right now with what he's being given.
Well, a lot of people are hating on it. They're like, oh, where's the Johnny Gargano we watched in NXT? But I think that's the perfect way to introduce him to the main roster audience is by, showing this comedic side of things and promo heavy segments.
You know what? I'm going to have a dispute with you on that. I don't think that is a good move. If you want to have a guy that is going to eventually maybe be main event caliber, do not show him to a casual viewer that, hey, this guy's comedy, because that's all they're going to think of when they think of him later.
Yeah, but also how many people walk into the WWE and their gimmick is just being a really good wrestler? How far is that going to get you? I know he's Johnny Wrestling, but your gimmick can't be, I'm very good in the ring. It doesn't work. It never does.
Say that to a very good professional wrestler.
The best.
Right, Tuck?
Yep.
It's a good reference from Ian there.
Avery
Shout out
Good
to
now.
Avery Good. Yeah. There you go. Avery Good.
It's Avery Good, professional wrestler now.
Tucky knows. He knows what's going on. We got a couple more headlines here, and then we'll get to Tuck's topic for the evening. John Cena's streak of wrestling at least once every year for the past 2 decades will continue next Friday on SmackDown, as he is going to be teaming up with Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. Obviously, I love this. John Cena is my favorite superstar of all time. I think he's the GOAT. I'm glad the streak continues. I don't know if this is going to lead to more after this SmackDown tag match, but Tuck, how do we feel? John Cena is going to keep that streak going. He's teaming up with Kevin Owens. That's a big fight right there on the last SmackDown of 2022.
They're kind of loading up those 2 shows right around the New Year. That the Raw after the New Year looks stacked too. So I'm excited for both of those shows. December 30th, pretty close to Rumble season, pretty close to Mania. Is it, hopefully, fingers crossed, is this the start of a program with Cena and making some runs and helping the WWE make a little bit of money? Not that they struggle, but hey, Rumble to Mania, that is grab the bag season. That's their hottest. So
it's not going to hurt them having John Cena on a card.
Ever. No. Mm-mm.
Ian, what are your you were at SmackDown when they revealed that he is going to be that tag team partner. Do you think Cena is going to stick around, maybe work a program for WrestleMania, or is this just him keeping that streak going for consecutive years wrestling?
I think it's just to keep the streak going. As much as it hurts to say, I don't think he's going to stick around for a little while because, it depends on what his movie contracts are like right now, because that's the one thing I've heard from interviews was he would love to wrestle, but he just doesn't have the time to do it and is not allowed to do it by the movies that he's making and the studios he's working with. I would love to see it, and I'm sure I will agree he will probably be at WrestleMania wrestling, but I don't think there's
I think there's a few options for Cena if he were to wrestle at WrestleMania, and we might get to that in our next segment. So there's a little teaser for you guys out there. But one more thing I wanted to get to before we get into that topic, Tuck, is, and it really isn't a headline either, but I feel like it needs to be stated. And I don't know, did you guys watch Dynamite last night?
Bits and pieces. I did watch the main event.
Yeah.
I just want to give credit where credit is due. In my opinion, Jamie Hayter and Hikaru Shida had one of the best AEW women's matches in their history.
They tore it down. It was very good.
Talk about a first title defense right there, guys. Wait, what did Vogus say?
I said, Vogus, what are your thoughts?
Okay. Hey, look at that. Our favorite referee, Jeremy Tillema, checking in. He says, happy holidays, fellas. Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas, Jeremy. Hopefully, Jeremy will be working the Warrior Show January 21st in South Bend. That card looks absolutely stacked. Ian, I might ask you to go to that show. It looks like a good one. Kylie Ray versus the Queen. I mean, come on.
Do it. I'm in.
Ian's in. Tuck, you flying in for Warrior?
I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Whoa!
There's no chance we see Tuck. I love Tuck with all my heart, but there's no chance we see him for Warrior. Just saying. He's going to look it up now and see if he can make it happen.
I need somebody to pick me up from the airport, but
I can make that happen.
That's an easy
I think we can make that happen. But Ian, anything you want to add on, though, from this is the first title defense for Jamie Hayter. Shida is somebody you've criticized in the past.
Openly, yeah. And I'll admit to it.
Talk about that main event.
The chemistry between them two was incredible. Like they tore it down. And I mean, the crowd played into it a lot, but yeah, that was incredible. One thing I did note from it was the amount Jamie Hayter was selling after the match. Even though they beat down Sheeta after, the fact that Jamie was still selling it and was still looked like she was dazed and confused, that's awesome. That's incredible because it still put Sheeta over to the moon, and we're going to see another rematch, I'm sure, very, very soon. Probably Revolution.
Yeah, is that the next pay-per-view talk Revolution that you're going to, aren't you?
Yep, we got tickets.
Look at you. Look at you. Anything you want to add from that main event there on Dynamite?
Nope. I'm excited for the Hayter reign to continue.
She's awesome, and we'll talk about her later.
Haterade, yeah.
Love to hear that. We're going to give our OTMmy nominees later on in the show, but our next segment here, and Tucky, you brought this up as an idea since it's almost Christmas for us to do this week, and I'll just let you explain it. What's going on in your head here? What are we going to get into?
All right, so we're coming up with a wrestling card, an undercard, a mid card, / co.
No, that wasn't the one.
What?
The
I'm
gifts.
I'm talking about the gifts to the audience, our wrestling storyline gifts.
Oh. So we'll do that one later. That's the only thing I've been thinking about.
Yes.
The
Apparently.
gifts. I forgot about this one. Yeah. So, happy holidays. This is the OTM Happy Holiday Edition. So each of us are going to give a gift for 2023 to the pro wrestling community. If we could give pro wrestling fans a gift, storyline related, this will happen, headline related, what would that gift be?
I think it's only fair. You started off, Tuck. You proposed this topic, so I'll let you start us off hot. What do you got in mind? What is your gift to the OTM universe coming up in the wrestling calendar?
My gift to the wrestling universe is The Rock showing up at WrestleMania. That's my gift. I selfishly want it. So it's a gift to myself as well because I'm going to WrestleMania. But if I could give a gift, boom, pretty cool. And I would love it for The Rock to take both or one of the titles for a minute.
Really? I feel like that's a hot take for The Rock to take the title off of Roman. Is there a reason why?
No, just because it would be like so memorable. It might be so awful. It's unforgettable, but like when I look at all my shows, like you go to shows, like getting wrestling tickets to go to shows, it's like a lottery ticket where you're hoping to witness history, right?
Yeah.
Like, the McFoley spot, Mankind spots, and those like memorable moments. And I look
for me, the Shield debuting.
All right. That's like sweet. And I'm thinking back on my shows. It's like I got Liv Morgan at Money in the Bank, Austin Theory, Brock and Becky.
The Brock using the tractor to flip a ring at SummerSlam is very memorable.
That was cool. That was cool. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, man, I've been striking out a little bit on some of these shows. So I think that would be pretty cool.
So your gift to wrestling would be The Rock winning the titles and showing up at
WrestleMania.
Showing up.
Yes.
All right, Ian, you're the guest.
That would make the most people happy.
Fair.
Well, actually, you should probably go first because mine kind of builds off of yours.
Well, I got two of them. So do you want me to do the one that builds off of yours first?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
So I have two gifts to pro wrestling fans, guys. One of them is going off of these Forbidden Door Rumble rumors that we're seeing. They did it last year with Mickie James, and now there are reports going out there that they are interested in doing that type of, surprise at the Royal Rumble. So I'm going to have Jay White and maybe some members of the Bullet Club make an appearance at this year's Royal Rumble to potentially set up a feud with the OC. And obviously this story writes itself. You have AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson who have Bullet Club ties going against the new Bullet Club led by Jay White. I don't see how this isn't a slam dunk storyline. And sure, the WWE diehards might not know the history, but they can tell that story at the Royal Rumble and then leading up to WrestleMania. I would love to see the OC versus the Bullet Club at WrestleMania. So that is one of my gifts to the universe. We're going to make that happen. We're going to manifest that. Jay White and the Bullet Club taking on the OC. So Ian, I'll let you go off of what I just said right there.
All right, adding on to your gift, I'm going to do a little like one of the cards that are just attached to the gift. You got to read first. I got actually this was before I even saw what your gift was. It was
this is true.
Adam Cole returns to the WWE at WrestleMania to feud with AJ Styles and the OC, and they kind of feud over the OC because all of those guys were in the Bullet Club at one point. That would be incredible. But here's a little kicker. Adam Cole never actually left AEW. There was no contract release. It actually opens a forbidden door between WWE and AEW.
Oh, I like that, Ian. Way to get a little creative.
The best way to open that door would be to bring up what the Elite used to do and the people that started the company with the Bullet Club. I think that's absolutely perfect.
Duck, what do you think about Ian's gift to the universe?
I wish it would. It feels too far fetched for me.
But it's Ian's gift. It's Ian's gift.
Yeah, it's hard to be like, oh, does it work? Is it real? This gift?
Like mine's a little bit more realistic. Like, what if you saw OC versus Bullet Club at WrestleMania? You'd probably be pleased.
Oh yeah. I think WrestleMania Hollywood. I think I've got my fingers crossed. I don't think.
I'm telling you, it's going to be the best WrestleMania of all time.
Oh, it is Hollywood. Oh, okay. Rock and Steel. Yes. Okay.
Ian, we got room. We got room at the B&B for you, Ian.
Okay, I'll get to you real quick. That money.
Yeah, he doesn't have money. We have a gift from one of our listeners, down since day one-ish. Ryan Vogus.
Oh yeah.
He says, "Gift to me." He's gifting himself. Bray storyline ends up being incredible, which we're getting there. It's a slow build, but at least we got Uncle Howdy on SmackDown last week, so that's cool. Also, Bogus says, we see Austin wrestle at WrestleMania, which kind of leads into my second gift a little bit. Tuck, did you have a second gift, or was that all you really had was The Rock at WrestleMania?
Well, my second gift would be that LA Knight has a strong run after the Bray Wyatt feud.
Oh, right? I love that. Love that.
Because I love LA Knight, and I hope that the Bray Wyatt character we get now does not decimate the characters of it, because the Fiend got to a point where you didn't want to face him, right? Seth Rollins is like the one that survived it when you think of a lot of the guys that he went up against. So I'm hoping that LA Knight has a great my gift would be a strong 2023 run that capped off with an incredible Bray Wyatt feud that ends in a, however it does, but I hope that that's good and LA Knight still has a shot after facing Bray Wyatt, and that's kind of up to creative, I hope. But I
personally think LA Knight is world championship material, but do you think he is ever going to hold the WWE title or the Universal title?
No.
Yes.
Oh, Ian says no. Tuck says yes.
I don't think he has.
I love it.
I don't think he has the time in his career to get up to that point.
But he has the star power, I think.
It's got to be soon, though. That's got to be the thing.
I agree.
How old is he?
I think he's 38, right?
Yeah.
He might be a little bit older. Me, Ian, and Vogus were talking about wrestling ages because a lot of them big-time players right now are up in their 40s.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of time.
Sean Ricker.
That's his real name?
Sean Ricker.
Can I add one more gift to the pile, by the way?
Yeah.
We got room under the tree a little bit.
Yeah, we do.
Pat McAfee returns at WrestleMania.
I like it. What about the Rumble? Why not the Rumble?
Oh, yeah. Wins the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I think that would be a killer idea as well. Pat McAfee's fantastic. So the last one I have, my last gift to pro wrestling fans, and this is a story I've been imagining now for the past couple months, especially since he was just recently announced to have a match on SmackDown on the 30th. And let me set the table for you a little bit. The Rock and Cody Rhodes main event with Roman Reigns each night at WrestleMania. There you go. But John Cena, we know he's fighting on SmackDown. I think he shows up at the Rumble, and then we can lead to a WrestleMania match, whether that be and these are just names I could see him facing, Austin Theory, because the comparisons are there, Logan Paul, because Logan Paul called him out, or Stone Cold, just generation versus generation at WrestleMania. Stone Cold versus Cena would be awesome, but that's not my gift. My gift is Cody Rhodes takes one of the titles off of Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but post-WrestleMania, John Cena is going to hang around for even longer. John Cena wants to break Ric Flair's record for most world titles in the WWE. And John Cena is going to issue another challenge to Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, like he did 2 years ago. And John Cena takes the other belt off of Roman Reigns at SummerSlam and sets the record for most WWE titles in history. How do we feel about it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why not?
Wow.
Why not?
I'm here for it.
No. The Vogus, very serious response here. My last gift, Natalya versus Valhalla in the main event of night one of WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Sign me up. I'm in.
No.
I don't think anybody's signing up for that one. But yeah, that was a
But
And
SummerSlam
Nia
is
Jax
becoming the thing, right? Like we're just going to SummerSlam. We're going.
it should. I'm in. I know Ian mentioned to me he's in.
I am
It's
in.
the one that everyone can make, like schedule wise, like everyone can kind of plan around it. You know,
And hopefully
I don't
John
know when
Cena-
I'll go to Mania again because it's in the thick of baseball season. You know, like, but I like the SummerSlam. If it's in Detroit, we'll see.
Yeah, there's rumors of it being in Detroit, which would be kind of cool for me too, because my good friend David Kepshire lives in Detroit, or in that Detroit area as well. So, and we obviously know a couple of the Wiffle guys, Rat and Gallagher, that are around that area. So we definitely have ties to the Detroit area if SummerSlam were to be there. But I thought that was a good topic to discuss. Unfortunately, Erica wasn't there to discuss it with us, but I think she loved it at the time when you pitched it, didn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and next week she can share that as well. That can
She
be one of the OTMys as well. You know.
The OTMys is the biggest show of the year, guys. You have to tune in next Thursday at 7 p.m. Central. We have multiple people presenting these awards, and we are going to get to the nominees. So you can now start thinking about who you are eventually going to vote for these OTMys, because each category is up to you, the listener, and the people following us on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. You get to decide who wins each one of these categories. But before we get to the nominees of the OTMys, we have to hear what the listeners are saying about the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.
What's everybody saying about the On the Mark podcast?
It's just insane, and I love it.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
Unlike any other.
It's a great show.
We'll be right back after a brief intermission.
So unless you've been, there he is. Sorry. Yep. Even Ian was doing it with you. Look at him. The young gun coming in hot. So if you've been living under a rock and don't know what the OTMys are, it's our year-end award show that we will be doing next week, December 29th at 7 p.m. Central. We have 7 categories between AEW and WWE, mainly because that's what we kind of watch every single week. So we might as well discuss who the nominees are going to be. We talked about it a little bit before the show. We brought it down to 4 options per category. So let's get right to it, guys. That way we can get to Tucky's other idea for the holiday season. But let's get to some of the nominees. The first category here, Match of the Year. The nominees are Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, Gunther versus Sheamus at Clash at the Castle, Cody versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and the most recent one, the Briscoes versus FTR at Ring of Honor Final Battle. Those are 4 very strong candidates, Ian. I believe you have seen most, if not all of these. I don't want you to say definitively who you are voting for, but do you have a couple that you're kind of eyeing here when it comes to match of the year?
See, it's not fair because my eyes automatically go to Osprey versus Cassidy because I was there for that and it was incredible. But also, it was the day after Gunther versus Sheamus, and that was also incredible. So, Cody and Rollins, I caught glimpses of, and Briscoes versus FTR, I also caught glimpses of. Yeah, it's tough. It's between two.
Tuck, we kind of struggled to narrow this down to 4. It's very hard to narrow it down to 4 because match of the year, it's a subjective category. There is a huge list, of matches that we're like, holy shit, that was awesome. So first off, let's speak of how hard it was for us to narrow it down to just these 4, and then maybe 1 or 2 matches that you're looking at here in this list.
Well, I think any of the Briscoes versus FTR matches could have been considered, but the last one was kind of the most vicious. There's a ton of matches from all over the independent scenes that, with our ability to stream and watch now, could have made the cut. And then narrowing it down to just 4 with 10, 11, 12 WWE shows, 4 or 5 AEW shows, the weekly stuff,
GCW.
Yeah. 100. We've watched hundreds of matches this year, and I think it is a strong 4. I don't think you can argue. I think one of those 4 will be most matches of the year, I would think, on many of the different platforms. So,
and they'll be able to vote. We're going to do a Google form, correct, to decide these winners?
Yep, it'll be up tomorrow.
We'll share that on our Facebook and our Twitter account, so make sure you're following us at Pod on the Mark. That's the first category, match of the year. The next one is pay-per-view of the year. And the nominees are as follows. WrestleMania, because WrestleMania was fantastic. SummerSlam, which Tuck and I were in attendance for. Clash at the Castle being the third option, which Ian and I watched live in a hotel room all out weekend. And the last option, AEW Revolution. And like I told you guys before we started recording, I listened to last year's OTMmy show, and we were very AEW heavy. We said if there was a promotion of the year, it would have been AEW in 2021. But when you look at this list for pay-per-view of the year, you have 3 WWE nominees and just 1 AEW. To me, personally, Tuck, that's not that surprising. AEW put on good pay-per-views, but it just seems like WWE knocked it out of the park more than AEW did this year.
Yeah, well, and both companies had turbulence throughout the year too. But I think WWE had some bigger swings. I think AEW was settling into the product this year. It felt like where they're in that spot where like they're not going to be making huge mild jumps show to show now because of being run for 3 years. I just think WWE had it in the bag this year.
Clash of the Castle is a pay-per-view, Ian, like I said, that you actually watched. And when we were live reacting to it in the hotel room, I even said it to you. I was like, this is going to be a pay-per-view of the year candidate. And here we are talking about it at the end of 2022. Obviously, that one sticks out to me, but what else on these nominees right here for pay-per-view of the year stick out to you?
When we talked about what AEW pay-per-view really set the match or kind of match of the year, or not match of the year, show of the year candidate, it was hard to pinpoint. But looking back on Revolution, you had Jurassic Express versus Red Dragon and the Young Bucks in that AEW tag team championship. I think it was a ladder match? I think it was a ladder match.
I don't think so, but maybe you're right. Maybe I forgot. But it was a good one.
I just remember how incredible that one was. And they had the CM Punk Hangman dog collar match, which was also incredible.
CM Punk MJF dog collar match.
Yes. It's like you said with AEW, there wasn't anything too crazy. We had All Out last year and plenty of other shows last year, but WWE absolutely sweeped this year. They
brought it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And this is going to sound biased, but I tried to be, as honest as possible. I would have put Extreme Rules over AEW Revolution. Like, I don't even think AEW had a top 4 pay-per-view of the year. Is that crazy to say, Todd?
AEW is getting 70% of the votes on the Fightful poll right now for promotion of the year. For promotion of the year.
Wow.
Stop being fucking biased. Like,
wow.
You can't sit here. I know I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the marks. You can't sit here and tell me that AEW's been better than WWE this year. It's just
2,000 votes.
And we said it last year. AEW was definitely the best promotion in 2021. And this is coming from people that started with WWE fandom. But this year, I don't think it's close. And you brought it up. There's been adversity in both companies. You have Vince being let go, Triple H taking over, and then you have that whole all-out scrum fallout with CM Punk and everything. It's just both companies went through some shit, but WWE seemed to bounce back from that shit. And that could change in 2022. We will see. But we got 5 other categories here. Let's go to Tag Team of the Year, Tuck. Do you want to read off the nominees for Tag Team of the Year?
Sure thing. Tag Team of the Year. Usos, FTR, Death Triangle, and The Acclaimed. This was a little bit of a tough one to kind of whittle down as well. A lot of good tag teams.
So last year we did 6 nominees for tag teams, but I think this year these 4 really stood out above the rest. Ian, what do you think about these nominees for Tag Team of the Year?
It's tough. I'd say it's very tough.
This might be the hardest category of all the OTMys.
I don't know.
It's not hard for me.
I was gonna say I don't think it's hard for me necessarily, but I don't want to give away.
I know you're leaning FTR. You're leaning FTR.
Yeah, okay, I'll give in. Well, they went to a bunch of different promotions, won their titles, and held.
No, yeah. Here you go. Have your platform to persuade the listeners on who to vote for.
Yeah, no. FTR went to what? They went to AAA. They went to ROH. They held. Did they hold? They hold that
New Japan.
New Japan as well. Did they hold the AEW titles this year?
I want to say yes.
I think they
not
started
100%.
the year. I think they started the year with the titles. So they had 4 different titles from 4 different promotions. You could say ROH and AEW are the same, but still, they were strapped all year and still are strapped. I don't think it's too much of a debate, but the other
it is.
It's
a debate. It's a debate. The Usos every single week, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, are defending the titles against the Brawling Brutes. I mean, there's just the New Day, the Street Profits, and the legitimacy of the teams that they're facing and the pedigree. It's just, I think there's definitely a case, and those 2 stand out to me. And the Acclaimed have been great recently. Don't get me wrong, but they're not the Tag Team of the Year.
Okay. I'm going to add on to that though.
FTR has not held the AEW titles this year.
They didn't. Okay. I will say this though.
They've only held the AEW titles for 63 days in 2020.
That's kind of underwhelming. That's underwhelming.
The Acclaimed have a longer run. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland have a longer run. Jurassic Express. I think it's the shortest run. Other than, the Young Bucks, they had a 28-day run, but they've held them for.
Well, speaking of the Young Bucks, it's pretty crazy that they're not even a nominee in this category this year.
I know.
I think they got the 2nd or 3rd most votes last year.
Hey, votes,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sounded Canadian there for a second.
And they held the titles for a month this year, so
they did.
The Bucks?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I forgetting when that reign was?
That was at
mid-June to mid-July. June 15th.
Oh, around Forbidden Door time.
Yep.
Yeah, they defeated Jurassic Express in the first ever.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Ladder match. Yeah.
Gotcha. Anything else from Tag Team of the Year, or you want to move on, Tuck?
I'm good with it.
Ian, you have access to the Google Doc, don't you?
Yeah, I'm right there.
Do you want to name the female breakout Talent of the Year candidates?
Yeah, let's do it. For female breakout of the year for talent, we have Jamie Hayter, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, and Athena. Yeah,
this is another category where we struggled to find a 4th. I think those first 3 are great options. And Athena recently putting her name on the map for turning heel and winning the ROH title. But, I mean, between Roxanne, Cora Jade, and Jamie Hayter, Tuck, That's a very tough decision for me personally. I don't know about you.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things to factor in when it comes to Roxanne. Did she benefit from a poor Mandy Rose decision or a poor WWE decision? I think she was a great choice to win the Iron Survivor, but was she going to get the title days later? Was that in the plans?
Eventually, I think it was in the plan.
That's the sticky part about it for me, the Mandy Rose stuff, because you have to try to sort through and figure out like, when was Roxanne going to get the titles anyways? Or was that the plan all along? Like the timing of it all makes it feel funky, but 3 great candidates and Athena.
Athena might get a vote.
Strong year.
Yeah.
But
she's starting to pick it up late, but when you look at from January to December, Ian, I think Jamie Hayter is a slam dunk candidate. She really broke out here in 2022. I thought this was the year of Jamie Hayter. Roxanne Perez is somebody who signed this year with WWE. People forget that. She was ROH Women's Champion this year and WWE NXT Champion. And then Cora Jade's doing phenomenal stuff. I mean, it's going to be a tough one to decide.
Did Cora Jade sign this year as well?
No, that was
it was last
a year ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Because she was a female breakout talent last year as well. Fun fact.
That's true. Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. Do you lean in any direction here?
For me, it's between Cora Jade and Jamie Hayter. I mean, the reason I'd lean more towards Jamie Hayter would be because her storyline was literally made for her to break out from Britt Baker. And I think that obviously that's still in the work. I think that's still going to happen down the road where it's completely Jamie Hayter's going to turn face. But I think just the fact that her storyline was good because she was the go-to person like when Britt had the title and hey, this title defense is going wrong. Come save me. And now she's holding the title and Britt's
she's the girl.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'd lean more towards her, but Cora Jade has done wonders in NXT.
They all have done a lot this year, some more than the others. Cora doesn't have the accolades, but I think we got some strong candidates for female breakout talent of the year. For male breakout, we have Solo Sikoa of the Bloodline. Did great stuff in NXT at the beginning of the year and then came up to the main roster. You have Ricky Starks, who just had a great AEW title match against MJF. Gunther, who has done nothing but just banger after banger. Yeah, exactly. And then Austin Theory, who has the accolades. He won Money in the Bank. He's a 2-time U.S. champion. He's got it all. So, Tuck, I think this is another category where it's like you can make a case for every single one of these people.
Yeah, compelling arguments and a lot of different styles too. From like you mentioned, Austin Theory, more kind of like a resume type candidate. Gunther with the matches, Ricky Starks with the promos and the machismo, Solo Sikoa with the brute force, and the debut with the Bloodline. So you got like a debut, attitude, wrestler, accolades. I could see someone winning this one at like 35% of the vote. You know what I mean? Not really dominating the category. Like I think some of these FTR I think will dominate, but some of these candidates and some of these choices I think will just kind of run away with it. What do you think?
Leaning towards me, this one's really, really tough just because male breakout. I don't think Solo Sikoa has done enough per se in matches to earn this title. But the other 3, I think, all have very good and compelling reasons. I'm kind of like discussing in my head what I would choose, but this one might be the closest out of them all.
It's a slam dunk choice for me.
I mean,
it's Gunther.
That's where I'm leaning. That's where I'm leaning towards.
Gunther.
But you gotta look at
General. Come on, it's got to be Gunther. He's. I said something very
Austin Theory's got the resume, though.
Yeah, he does. Ian can attest to it. We're not going to say what I said, but I said something very controversial when Gunther had a match on SmackDown. I'll leave it at that. But I am a big Gunther fan. That's basically the gist of what I said.
Private chat,
SmackDown. I turned that kid that was showing his ass crack multiple times heel by rooting for Gunther, basically, in that IC title.
Wow.
Yeah.
With one
Was that kid was just all Ricochet all day?
Yeah, and he's like, oh no, it's Gunther. And I would stand up and I'd go, just like that. and the people behind me loved it. They loved it. The two granddaddy of them all categories, female talent of the year and male. Tuck, I'll let you go to female talent of the year, and then you can ask Ian what he thinks, because I forgot to pour myself bourbon as I went to the bathroom. So why don't you tell us the category or the candidates for female talent of the year?
The nominees for female wrestler of the year are Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Becky Lynch, and Liv Morgan. Ian, what are your thoughts?
Well, obviously my AEW mindset immediately goes to Cargill, but I mean, you can't argue with honestly any of them. This one's tough. Because I don't want to choose Jade and say she's a strong candidate, but I do at the same time, because I don't want to be like, oh, he's just an AEW mark. But you can't argue with what she's done over the years. She is. I'd see her more as
this is a one-horse race to me. It's Bianca.
Can I make a take about Jade? I don't think she deserves to even be in this conversation. I don't think her match quality and her body of work stands up to the other nominees. Like Tuck said, it's got to be Bianca. Yeah. Who's had a better year than Bianca Belair? No one.
Who better?
I'll leave it at that. We don't really even need to discuss it that much, because you look at that list. Liv Morgan is an interesting option. We talked about it beforehand. Winning Money in the Bank. Having a multi-month title reign, defending it against Ronda Rousey, that's credible. But did she put together from January to December the year that Bianca did? I don't think so.
That's fair.
I don't think so. So the nominees for male superstar of the year are, and this was, a list that was hard to decide on, but we settled on these four. We have Roman Reigns, the head of the table, for obvious reasons. Seth frickin' Rollins, Jon Moxley, and MJF. We have three members of the OG Shield and MJF. Obviously, MJF is a name that's going to stand out to a guy like Ian, but you look at Roman Reigns, been the champion, the unified champion the entire year. You look at Seth Rollins, having great matches in every feud that he has had. And you look at Jon Moxley. He kind of was the staple of AEW in 2022. So, Ian, these four, I can't think of a better four in 2022.
I take it back. This is going to be the closest poll here.
You can make a case for all these guys.
Yeah. Honestly, I could see any of these guys winning. And there's probably still more people. There's probably like a fifth and sixth we're not even thinking of that could probably win it. But we're limiting it to four. Who won it last year for us?
Roman Reigns.
Okay.
He wrestled more last year. Roman Reigns wrestled more last year.
But I will say this. This is the first time I have gone to a WWE event and saw Roman Reigns as he was now.
Superstar.
And, oh, my God. That's like a rock star. That's like the Beatles coming out and the crowd's going crazy. It's incredible.
Just compare that reaction to what you saw from like a Tegan Knox.
Exactly. Yeah.
And no disrespect to Tegan. I love Tegan, but you got to witness it firsthand at SmackDown. Roman Reigns is a star.
That man demands the crowd, and it's eye-catching. It's good.
It's going to be hard to vote against the tribal chief, but we have three other great candidates that had a fantastic year.
I will not be voting for Roman Reigns, so I will say
Don't
that.
Leave it at that. Yeah, leave it at that. Okay. How about this? I also will not be voting for Roman Reigns.
I wasn't.
That's hard to say. It hurts me.
Ian, say one person you will not be voting for.
Fuck.
There's one
That's so
AEW.
hard too.
There's two AEW guys.
I will not be voting for John Moxley.
Wow. He would get my second vote.
He would get my vote over MJF.
Yeah.
I mean, he held up AEW this year. He was the model of consistency in AEW. Without John Moxley, AEW might fold in 2022. That might be a hot take.
Okay, yeah, but you can't. You got to put the title back on Moxley. You can't put on a guy like Ricky Starks to get out of the shits.
Well, obviously,
Moxley, he was the stabilizer.
The guy.
He was the flex seal on the boat, brother. That's my take as well.
I genuinely think that MJF had a better year than John Moxley, but that's not taking.
He was
anything
gone
away
for
from
4
John
months.
Moxley.
Yeah.
Okay, John Moxley cooled off after he lost the title. Just a smidge.
He was still there.
He was still there. Correct. That is true.
The body of work is stronger than MJF, in my opinion. If we're MJF, probably fourth on this list for me, and that's crazy to think about because MJF is hotter than ever right now. He's AEW World Champion
Right now,
exactly.
Okay.
Let's just look at Seth Rollins. I mean, every feud that he's been a part of has been fantastic. Cody Riddle,
banger,
Roman Reigns,
banger.
Seth Rollins is always in the mix. Bobby Lashley, banger. Austin Theory, banger. Seth Rollins is the model of consistency, in my opinion. He might be the favorite in this category. And here's a take from Ryan Bogus: Moxley matches are overrated. Ian, thoughts?
Are they overrated because they're consistent and it's what he usually does? Is that the thing? And you're getting tired of seeing what he's doing? Is that why it's overrated?
Basically, you're saying most of his matches are very similar structured.
Yeah. Consistent, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair take. OC No C, my buddy Adam in the chat, he said this is MJF 15 minutes right now. Oh, you're talking about him as the champion. This is MJF.
Yeah, 15 minutes of fame right now. That's like, it's hot. It's relevant for sure.
That's by the way, we referenced him as somebody I didn't know the entire episode 2 weeks ago, but that's my counterpart. I work with that guy every day. So
great.
Didn't even know it. He was very active in the chat 2 weeks ago, and here he is. Pleasure to see you, Adam. Thanks for stopping by. But Ryan Bogus says, I don't think Moxley's a good wrestler. He's a good character. His matches bore me. And I think Vogus has brought that point up in past episodes. I don't think they bore me, John Moxley's matches, Tuck, but I mean, they don't blow me away. I can see his point.
Did he have a match on the match of the year list that we were thinking about?
No.
No,
he
didn't.
He's a strong champion, but a lot of it is who he is, and the fact that he'll just drive his boot into somebody's face for like 4 straight minutes, like that's just kind of his style. It's knock you out over the top kind of, but I could see where you draw the overrated comparisons to it. It's not like the story of the matches. There's not a ton of layers to a John Moxley match, I don't think.
And as a whole, look at this category, male wrestler of the year. You have 3 out of the 4 that were members of the Shield. This is a reason why the Shield is talked about as one of the greatest stables in the history of professional wrestling. You look at those 3 guys and what they have accomplished over the past decade. I mean, they're mainstays, and that's why they are in this category for male wrestler of the year, no doubt. Vogus is also saying everything leading to the matches is great. Awesome promo work from John Moxley. I think that's a fair take. I definitely think that's a fair take. But Tuck, now is the time where we can get into this is on the fly, by the way. This is a shoot. You want to elaborate on what you're thinking here so I can think myself?
Right, we got to set up 3 matches of holiday songs, Christmas songs. Undercard, midcard, main event. Obviously, Mariah Carey. All I want for Christmas is.
I have the main event. I have the main event.
Let's hear the main event
right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
In one corner we have Mariah Carey, obviously, but in the other corner we have "Baby It's Cold Outside" by Dean Martin.
Oh.
I mean, who says no?
That one's actually Baby It's Cold Outside has been drawing like rapey vibes. Thoughts?
Oh, come on, Tuck.
Check social media. I'm just asking.
All right, if we're gonna go main event and we're gonna work backwards, I don't know how you come back from that comment.
Okay, that's the main
Dear
event. But that's a squash match. Mariah Carey wins it.
I definitely think Mariah Carey's in the main event of this Christmas song card.
I think
That's
what's the biggest rivalry we can build off of Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas"? What is
classic? I'll be home for Christmas. That's my vote for the competitor in the main event. That is a song that has been a part of culture for the past 50 years. I'll be home for Christmas versus Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas. That's my main event.
So what you're saying right now?
We're not going to talk about "White Christmas" by Bing Crosby.
It's a good song.
Dreaming.
It's a good one.
I think the Kenosha Kickers covered that one. They were getting pretty big. They sold 500 copies in Minnesota.
I got a mid card for you. Rocking Around the Christmas Tree versus Jingle Bell Rock. I think those are two that make you feel good. Like you're gonna get into it, but it's not gonna steal the show. But it gives off good vibes. So Jingle Bell Rock, and I'm totally blanking on what I just said. What did I just say? Jingle Bell Rock versus
Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
Rock Around the Christmas Tree. Correct. That's my mid card.
Rocking Around the Christmas Tree in a squash match.
Wow.
Okay. If we're looking for the Rey Mysterio of the bunch, are we going to talk about Feliz Navidad?
Oh, I love it.
Navidad.
A luchador entry.
Yeah, we got Feliz Navidad. We could put that one at Last Christmas by Wham. That's kind of Last Christmas I gave you my heart. Yeah, you get it. Or you could do Christmas in House by Run DMC. Like if you want the charge. Bruce Springsteen, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Do we have a challenger for Mariah Carey?
I don't think there is.
Baby, it's cold outside. What?
My opening match is Frosty the Snowman versus
Rudolph.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. How'd you know?
That's good.
That'll work.
Frosty the Snowman versus Rudolph. Two big characters in Christmas, cornerstones of the holiday.
Okay,
are
we just going to leave out Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer?
Oh, wait, Bogus. On cue, unintentionally says Rudolph versus Frosty. We're both trying to click it in at the same time. There it is. Bogus on the same page as Tuck and I. That's the match you kick off the card with.
Well, and I think what you do is you make Mariah Carey the undisputed champion, the head of the table, and all of the other songs just have the Royal Rumble for the opportunity. Because there's a lot of candidates that you'd be like, yeah, okay, I guess you could argue would go, but Hallelujah by the Pentatonics, great. A lot of bangers out there, but Mariah Carey's undefeated, so you got to have a Royal Rumble for everybody else. There you go.
Adam asked, OC Nocy asked, I should say, best Christmas movie, Christmas Story or Christmas Vacation? Neither. Elf. I said what I said. Elf's.
But if I'm picking between the two, definitely Christmas Vacation.
If
that's in my Mount Rushmore.
If I'm picking between the two, I'm also leaning Christmas Vacation, but Christmas Story, strong Northwest Indiana ties.
Overrated. Christmas Story's overrated.
Even though it's like the licked pole is in Hammond.
It's true.
But the house is in Cleveland.
No. That's true. Yeah, that is. The house is in Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah, the house is in Cleveland. You could Airbnb it.
I think the worst Christmas movie of all time is what is it? Miracle on 34th Street. Is that the movie from Black and White? That's the worst. That's the worst. I don't give a shit about that. I wasn't even alive. I wasn't even a thought at that point.
Wow.
Why would I care?
Strong take.
Ian, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Favorite Christmas movie? That's a hard question. I mean, obviously Elf is up there.
Or do we want to do a Sunday shoot and watch along the last 10 Nightmare on 30 Miracle on 34th Street fight
Let's do
match?
it. I'm in.
We did leave that match. We watched all of the tape SmackDown for tomorrow, but the Miracle on 34th Street match.
Wow. Did they shoot that last?
Yeah, they shot that last. I mean, it's
the main
probably going to
event?
make the biggest mess. It's probably going to be, all the cleanup and everything. They're probably using the trees, I'm sure, at the stage.
Yeah.
So they saved that for last. They did the Roman in the Bloodline promo. Spoilers, he's going to cut a promo on SmackDown tomorrow night. Wait, do you want me to just spoil everything here, guys?
No. Retreat. Back up, sir.
Vogus said he did the licked pole thing as a kid. Doesn't recommend.
I can hear that.
I would have paid to see that. That would have been funny. But I think that closes up episode 124, which gets us to the point of the show where we award the most valuable mark of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast. It was Steve, SEW, the wrestling channel, but he unfortunately was unable to make it. Tonight he will be watching on a replay. I don't even need to go to the private chat here. I know Tuck is going to be backing my decision. Ian, I really don't care what you have to say, even though I totally agree, and you are about to see that what you said in the private chat is correct. And new MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast, Ryan Vogus.
Welcome back.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, King. Welcome back, King.
The king has returned.
The Christmas King right there. I'm acknowledging.
Acknowledge him, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a month or two, probably not that long, but it's been a couple weeks since Ryan Vogus was MVM. He has, since MVM was going to Ryan Vogus. I got it.
It's been a while.
I tried. Ian, thoughts on your king becoming MVM?
There wasn't another person that deserved it more. The man deserves to enjoy his Christmas while also knowing he is the most valuable mark. I hope he enjoys it. I hope all of you enjoy your Christmas. Even you guys.
Even us? Well, I would hope you'd want us to have a good Christmas.
Thanks, man. That's really cool, dude.
I just wanted to let it be known. When Erica said I couldn't make the show, the first person I texted was you.
I hope your Christmas is so good. I hope you get the best stuff. Your family time's great.
God, isn't Ian the worst, Doc? I can't believe you actually not only coached him, but didn't you teach him?
Bro, it takes a village for these kids, dog. Like, don't put it all on me. He's not my fault. Stop.
You never teach me. Never teach me.
He never teach me nothing.
Never teached me anything.
I tell you, and now I'm buying the dude beers, so stop.
I'll tell you what. That is crazy. But this was a very fun episode 127. The holiday season is upon us. And next week, December 29th at 7 p.m. Central, the biggest show of the year for the On the Mark Wrestling podcast. The OTMmies will be live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
Worldwide.
You have to tune in. This is a must-listen, a must-watch live show. Episode 128 will be the OTMmies. Ian, any final remarks as we sign off here for episode 127?
I will definitely, possibly see you guys next week.
He's the worst.
I'll be there.
I don't have any final remarks other than I had a blast, and I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Stay safe out there. I know weather's bad in Northwest Indiana. I know not all of our listeners are from Northwest Indiana, so
It'll
enjoy.
be 55 on Christmas.
It'll be probably in the negatives here in Northwest Indiana. So can't wait, Tuck, but I think that's all we got for him. Why don't you send us home?
Yeah, OTM's next week. Looking forward to that. I hope everyone has a happy holiday as well. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Next week, Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. You already know the drill. We're going to be here. That's the OTM's. You know what it is. Google form will be out tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. If you're listening
Forget about the giveaway.
And there's a giveaway going on at Pod on the Mark on Twitter. Okay. Follow us on TikTok, follow us on YouTube, do all that fun stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling
Podcast.